Imagine you're deep in the wilderness. The sun is blistering, the air is still, and for miles in every direction, there's nothing but rock and sky. You are completely, utterly alone. Now imagine a half-ton boulder shifts, and in a violent instant, your arm is crushed between it and a canyon wall. This isn't a hypothetical. For 27-year-old Aron Ralston, this was the beginning of 127 hours of hell. In April 2003, Aron, an experienced outdoorsman, was exploring Blue John Canyon in Utah. He was confident, capable, and had made a critical mistake. He hadn't told a single soul where he was going. As he descended a narrow slot, an 800-pound boulder, balanced for 1,000 years, came loose. It pinned his right hand, crushing the bone and trapping him against the cold sandstone. His initial adrenaline gave way to a horrifying clarity. He was stuck. For the next 5 days, time warped into a slow, agonizing crawl. He rationed his tiny supply of water, then his 2 burritos. He used his small video camera to record goodbyes to his family, his voice cracking as he apologized for his carelessness. He chipped away at the massive rock with his cheap multi-tool, a futile effort. As dehydration began to shut down his body, he resorted to drinking his own urine, a desperate act to buy a few more hours of life. He knew search and rescue wasn't coming. How could they? No one was looking for him here. By the 5th day, he was slipping into delirium. He hallucinated, seeing friends and loved ones. But then, a different kind of vision appeared. It was a clear, vivid image of a little boy with blonde hair. He knew with an unshakable certainty that this was his future son. And in that moment, something shifted. It was no longer about surviving. It was about living. He now had a reason to get out. He knew what he had to do. He took out his climbing harness and fashioned a crude tourniquet. Then, leveraging his body against the canyon wall, he deliberately snapped the 2 bones in his forearm.
The sound echoed in the silent canyon. With his arm now broken, he began the real work. Using the dull 2-inch blade of his multi-tool, he started cutting through skin, muscle, and tendon. For a full hour, he worked through excruciating pain, severing his own arm from his body. And then, he was free. But his ordeal was far from over. Bleeding heavily and in a state of shock, he had to rappel one-handed down a 65-foot cliff face and then hike 7 miles out of the canyon under the brutal desert sun. It was on that hike that he stumbled into a vacationing family who finally alerted the authorities. When the rescue helicopter landed, the pilot was stunned. They had been looking for him, but they were expecting to find a body. Aron Ralston's story didn't end in that canyon. The boulder that nearly took his life became a metaphor for the immovable obstacles we all face. His experience was adapted into the film 127 Hours, but his true legacy is in the message he shares, that even in our darkest, most hopeless moments, when we feel pinned down by the weight of the world, we can find a reason to break free. It's a terrifying yet profound reminder that the will to live is a force of nature all its own.